On today's episode, I'm going to be talking about pruning apple trees. This is the same tree that Eli Cook started working on in 2016, and then Jesse Randall was here last spring and he worked on this one a little bit too. So it's had a couple of real good experts pruning and shaping this tree, and it did produce a lot of fruit this past fall. So I've got to come in and prune this one again. This is a task that you have to do every single year. Pruning is not a one and done deal. You always have to go in and clean up the new growth that's going in the wrong direction. So these are some of the basic tools. I just have, a pruning shear, and I've got some of these wedge, I don't know what they are even called, spreaders, I guess, that we can stick in between the branches and spread them out. The plan when you're pruning is pretty simple. The more I watch these guys, the more I realize that this isn't super complicated. Anybody can do this. The whole goal is to clean out any branches that are going straight up or back into the tree, and then to spread the branches that are going somewhat outward so that they lay a lot flatter. That's the best situation for creating airflow through the tree, getting sunlight into all of the spots where the tree needs to flourish to produce the apples, and then also making the tree structurally stronger to hold a lot of apples. So that's all I'm doing here is I'm just going to go in, take out anything pointing up, anything pointing in, and then make sure that the branches that we're trying to create as apple bearing branches get spread. Also, this tree is big enough, it's time to get rid of the cage. I want any apple that falls out of this tree to be available to the deer. And it's important to keep these things caged for a while so that the deer can't browse them off as they're really starting to grow. But this one's big enough now that the browsing is going to be fairly low on the tree and most of the fruit bearing is going to be up higher. So I'm getting this cage off. So now that I've got it opened up, I'm going to eliminate all the competition around this tree too. And I think ideally you would probably keep it a lot more, keep it mowed, and then maybe even spray some areas with a herbicide to keep the weed competition down. But all I'm going to do is just cut out all the brush that's close to this tree, and that will hopefully give it just a little bit better access to moisture and nutrients that it needs during the summer. If you look at this tree, there's a ton of new growth going straight up. That's the stuff that we need to get out of there, because what actually is happening is the tree's putting energy into producing this new growth, but you want that energy to go into creating apples or to improving the structure of the branches that are already in place to bear the apples. Anything else that the tree tries to do other than produce fruit just takes away from its fruit producing capability. So we're getting rid of all these little branches that are going in the wrong direction. That will make the tree more productive overall. So you can see that's pretty easy. It took me about less than 10 minutes for this tree. And it had been shaped and it had been worked on a couple of times in the past. So this was more about just the maintenance part of pruning. I was a little bit more aggressive on a few of these branches trying to shape them. I can see one more here I want to get. So the goal is to lay them as flat as you can. You don't have very much going up. That makes the tree more stable for bearing the fruit that will hold more apples if you do it that way. So that's been our goal here, real simple. Anything growing in, we cut out. Anything growing up, we cut out. Then we try to lay any of the bigger branches as flat as we can with these spreaders.